Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. It's two rad dads. It's the biggest chads. Uh, I'm Dylan. Joining me as always is Ben.
I don't even want to agree to being a part of this now. We've been gone for a long time, and I feel like now I need to go away for longer.
I'm just trying to roll along with the alliteration rhyming a little bit there at the beginning, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Roll along. Just rolling.
Just keep rolling.
Oh God, not another Limp Bizkit reference.
And it has been a minute. Ben went on some travels. He's had to, have a baby. Who does that?
A baby. I travel for work. It's a great mix.
So musical March turned into one musical.
Yeah.
It happens. And we're coming back, and it's music adjacent. It's a music film, I guess. We're doing Top Secret, one that I didn't even know about. Ben was like, "Oh, let's do this." Val Kilmer had passed away when we were on hiatus, I guess. We hadn't recorded since, and so we were kind of looking for movies to do, and this was the first movie that Val Kilmer had ever done. I read that he had turned down a role in The Outsiders due to commitment issues, and then this was his first movie instead. Which is a bold choice.
Dude.
But Top Secret is it's by the guys who did Airplane. The Zucker brothers. I think they're brothers. They have the same last name. And Jim Abrahams. And I had never heard about this before. Ben was like, let's do Top Secret. I was like, what am I getting into? And you said it was like spoofy comedy like Airplane. I was just thinking like, not literally like what Airplane is. I was like thinking like, oh, like, they're going to poke some fun. No.
This movie is off the walls.
Just absurd humor and comedy. And we can just get into it. We can go over all the details real up front real quick, and then we can just dissect this one. Top Secret is a 1984 PG movie. The 1980s PG,
Yeah. I'd say today's age PG-13.
Yeah. There's nothing really like obscene and maybe language.
Okay.
Was there a bit of language?
No.
Okay.
No, I will say the most obscene. We can just dive into it. I think the anal fisting machine is probably the most obscene it gets.
That was
the jackhammer.
That was a bit.
I love later in the movie when they pull it out, but it doesn't have the end on it anymore.
Yeah, they're like, we found your comrade.
Yeah.
Our doctors did all they could to take the look of pleasure off his face. Like, what?
I just love the fact that the lead into that is, I've tried everything, the embassy, the German government, the consulate, I even talked to the UN. It's no use. I just can't bring my wife to orgasm. And then they're just like, we couldn't wipe the look of pleasure off of his face.
Oh my God, yeah. So for those of you who don't know anything about Top Secret, it is a parody slapstick comedy film, crime, music. It's essentially parodying like the Elvis movies and like World War II spy movies. It's the story of an American rock and roll singer who is invited to a cultural festival in East Germany in order to distract from a plot to destroy NATO submarines, but he accidentally becomes involved in a resistance plot to rescue an imprisoned scientist. And it stars Val Kilmer as Nick Rivers, who is this American musician. and it has the. I hate when IMDb does the fucking ordering. Like, so sometimes it makes sense, like in credits order or like alphabetical or what, like, but theirs is like, Omar Sharif, who is Agent Cedric, who is the like French spy who's in the movie for like all of 3 minutes. He's the number one credit.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not I mean, in terms of people that would be recognized, there's not a lot that you're like, oh, that's this guy from this thing.
Yeah.
Just a little also bit of trivia for people who haven't seen this movie. Not only was it Val Kilmer's first movie, but as someone who's grew up loving Val Kilmer as Batman, Batman Forever, not the first time Val Kilmer and Michael Gough, who played Alfred, shared the screen together. That would be this movie here.
That's where I knew the Doctor from.
Yep.
Okay.
That's Alfred from all of the kind of quadrilogy of the 90s movies.
Okay. That I was
who'd
like,
have thunk
I was like,
they
he
made
looks
this
so
movie,
familiar.
and then a little over a decade later, they would star in the highest grossing movie of 1995 together. Who would have watched this and been like, yep, that's it. That's the pair that's going to be box office gold.
We need this. These two, oof, they got the chemistry.
These two fire.
I would say the other major character is Hilary Flamand, who plays the daughter of Dr. Paul Flamand. Michael.
Yeah, I would say Hilary's the character's name.
Well, yeah, Lucy Gutteridge.
Which, if you haven't heard of her, it's because she's not really been in much else.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, what about the people in Airplane? Like, the girl who plays Elaine, is she in a ton of stuff? Yeah, I mean, she's still working today. I'm just trying to look at known for Airplane 1, Airplane 2, Marriage Story as a side character, and Freddy Got Fingered. The fucking, what's his name?
Tom Green?
Tom Green, yeah. Couldn't think of his name. Yeah, the Tom Green film. So, I mean, is it a great career move? You decide. But she's still getting consistent work, so. But I had no idea. So I had no idea what to expect going in. Not knowing anything, and you just kind of being like, let's do Top Secret. So I was kind of expecting I was expecting comedy. I wasn't expecting the absurd, off-the-wall comedy. And whether that is for the better or the worse, I did enjoy this movie.
I was so worried that you were going to be like, you'd kind of know at least something about it. So with you going in absolutely blind makes me so much happier.
Yeah, I was, some of it was, I was just like, what the fuck? I mean, I love Airplane, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, this movie was bad and it sucked and it, whatever. But like, some of the bits where it was like,
oh, this movie is bad in the best way possible.
Yeah, and I feel like they pushed it, like they knew they could get away with like everything we did in Airplane or whatever. We could push it further. So it's like, to me, like the cow bit where it's like they get in the cow costume and then it switches to like a live cow and you're just like,
actual cow wearing boots.
Yeah, you're like hearing the voiceover and like eventually it ends up with somebody getting it from behind from a cow.
Yeah,
and you're just like, what the and then when, oh god, what is his name? I can't even think of the character's name right now. He's the Torch, but what is his Nigel?
Oh, Nigel.
Nigel, and then when he like goes and meets Hillary later, and he's like walking crooked.
Yeah. He's great. Yeah.
I was like, Jesus.
I just think this movie has so many great, like, I feel like this was such a, if you like early, like, Family Guy, where, like, the cutaways are just not as over the top, this is such a similar movie where the cutaways are just so good. Yeah,
It does actually. It does remind me of like early Family Guy, where it like, it would like do something and then just like lean into that bit for a minute. Like I think of like,
just like they're sitting there and when Hillary's like, I know a little German, and then it kind of cuts over, pans the room, and there's just a really small guy in lederhosen. Come on, that's fantastic. That's just so good.
I was thinking of when like Nick tries to escape from the prison, and he's like crawling through the fence, and it like comes back out into his room,
back around,
and he's opening the doors and stuff. Yeah, I was like,
I love when he. All right, just getting into it. So, like we said, Val Kilmer plays Nick Rivers, who's kind of an Elvis parody. Even kind of the gist of this rock star going overseas, whatever. He finds this scientist who's developing this, what's not supposed to be a weapon, but in true any villainy fashion, they're going to turn it into a weapon. But I love when they go to rescue the doctor, and he's like, "Oh, one more day, and I would have been done with the tunnel." And he looks inside, and it's like the Jersey Tunnel. Yeah. It's just so good. One of my favorite cutaways is when he's just like, just looks into it, and it's like, "What? Oh wow, that's impressive." No, this movie's just got so many great gags. I think it's both quotable and also just the visual bits are fantastic.
And like some of them, I feel like they kind of airmail them to you, like when they go to the potato farm, and they're like, "Is this the potato farm?" And the guy like answers the door, and he's like up super high. He's like, "Yeah, I'm Ed Potato or whatever," and then he like opens the door, and he's like super small. I'm like, oh my god! Like I saw the joke coming, and it still made me chuckle. Like,
I love the grenade when the guy goes and dives on the grenade. So it's just a shot of like 5 guys all standing at windows. They watch the grenade come in. One guy goes to dive on it, and it goes off, and then all of the 5 guys just shoot up into the air. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, but so funny. But even some of like just the non-visual gags. I love the general when he's like, yes. Well, let me know if there's any change in his condition. He hangs up the phone and he's like, he's dead. Just. I also love the bit when they're like literally walking through what's happening in the movie. Nick's like, I'm not the first guy to fall in love with a woman who he meets at a restaurant, who then who rekindles a romance with someone that she knew years ago, and then she just goes, it sounds like some bad movie.
Yeah.
And they both just kind of like slowly turn and spike the lens. So good.
Oh man.
I also love just the little horse bit. What's wrong with him? Oh, he caught a cold last week. He's just a little horse. Like it's another one that you could obviously see coming, but just still made you chuckle.
It seems you have become, how do you say, indispensable?
Indispensable.
That's what I thought. Like it, just like stupid humor.
Oh, one of my favorite, the best way that you can know that what this movie is going to be, what this movie's going to be pretty early on, I mean, it keeps it pretty straight-laced, the fight on the train, everything going on, the whole talk of the German war plans, and then they talk about Nick Rivers, and they put it on, and it's literally, this song is like skeet surfing. And it's just a bunch of people surfing with shotguns.
Yeah.
But I love during the scene where like all of the people are rushing on the beach with the guns, there's just like this really old woman who's sitting there like firing her gun in the air. And that's when it's just like, you know as of right now what this movie is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, once it like got to that for the first number of skeet shooting, which is just a Beach Boys like parody.
Yeah,
you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting now. Like, like this is gonna be just off the wall, and all of the songs are just so goofy. Like, it reminds me of, as someone who likes like Weird Al, gives me kind of like Weird Al vibes in some of the like parody, but like Val Kilmer does such a good job. I saw that he like sings all the songs and everything. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I'd be curious to actually give like the soundtrack album a listen, knowing that he did all the songs, but released it as Nick Rivers.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it makes sense because, you know, he went on to play Jim Morrison in The Doors, and I also saw that he did the performing in that, and everyone was like, he friggin' knocked it out of the park. So.
I mean, look, you don't get... Nobody goes to Juilliard and isn't multi-talented, right? You're doing more than just the act. Something else is going on. It's rare that it's just you got into Juilliard and you weren't talented as a singer or comedy or something. There was something. Yeah, it always shocks me. I remember, I could swear the first time I saw this movie was maybe like it was playing on TV, and my dad and I turned it on and we watched, I think it was the underwater cowboy fight. And at that point I was just like, what is this? My dad's like, you've never heard of this? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, we got to watch it. We'll have to figure out if it's on somewhere. And then we made it a mission to find it and watch it. And it is just one of those movies that it's just dumb. You just shut your brain off and just laugh for like 90 minutes.
Yeah, but it's not a bad thing. Like,
no,
being a
in
dumb
the best
comedy.
way possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say being a dumb comedy is not a negative. Sometimes
it's
like,
you know what I think this movie does really well is the I'm trying to remember. Conan O'Brien has a great quote about comedy being both smart and stupid. He says, there's a lot of people who believe the two cannot coexist, but I will tell you, it's something I believe religiously. I think when you can make smart and stupid come together, it's very difficult, but if you can make it happen, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. I feel like that is this movie to a T. It is smart and stupid combined in the best way imaginable.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, to that point, it's like, yes, there's a lot of dumb jokes in the movie, but there's also a lot that you have to pay attention and you kind of have to process to get the joke. And yeah, it's like, you know, sometimes the joke will go over your head, and that's where I feel like it's like, oh, there's the smart element of it, is that like if the joke can just go right over your head, then there is a like intelligence to the humor, but for that there is also just the shittiest like toilet humor in it too, like in the skeet surfing the skeet surfing one where there's like the girl with her boobs on the ground, like in the sand, and she gets up and there's like holes. You're like, okay. Like,
yeah. But what's crazy is there's, for a movie in 84, it's not a ton. There's like that moment, and then the moment where it's like, what does Hillary mean? And she's like, oh, it's German for like she whose boobs defy gravity or something.
Yeah.
Where does Nick come from? And he's like, oh, I don't know. My dad just thought of it while he was shaving. Like, that's, you kind of got to think for a second to be like, what does that have to, oh,
Yeah,
Nick.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Like,
that
okay,
makes
yeah.
sense. I also just love, like, I lost it in the end. I always remember it. For some reason, I think of it from this movie more than I do the actual Wizard of Oz.
Mhm.
When she's saying goodbye to everyone, she goes, "Scarecrow, I'll miss you most of all." It's just, it's one of my favorite movie moments when she just says that, and then there's just a random scarecrow there. Like I said, there's so many of those types of moments in this movie where I'm just like, it should not work, but it does.
My one one of my favorite ones was all the like spy talk where they're like, "Do you know any good white basketball players?" There are no good white basketball players. I was like, Jesus. And then later on, when Hillary first is introduced and she goes and sees the guy and she's like, "Who do you favor in the Virginia Slims tournament?" And he's like, "In women's tennis, I always vote against the heterosexual." God damn it. What the fuck? Those had me cracking up. And then I feel like, which is kind of a very niche joke now, I feel like you only kind of hear of it in passing, like is the like Ford Pinto joke where they like lightly tap the bumper and it explodes. But then they hop into the burning Jeep. They're like, "Oh, these Germans make really good cars."
They really know how to make a good automobile.
Oh my god. Like that whole sequence, I was like, wow, this joke probably doesn't go over as well now.
No.
Just because nobody knows about the Pinto, but then it's like, oh, they're getting into the car that's on fire. All right, okay, all right, they're driving away.
I also loved the time when Chocolate Mousse does something. They're like, "Good job," and then the only other time another black person appears in the Resistance, just gives him a high five. He's like, "My man." It's just it's so good.
Oh man.
I love when Dr. Flamand gives like the whole breakdown of what happened, and he's like, "And then they arrested me and brought me to this dungeon." Nick's just like, "Oh man, that sucks." like, oh my god. I also just love when it's, he's like, "Look, I'm an American musician. They can't do anything to me." And it cuts to him making the tally marks. And then he's just like, "Thank God you're here. I've been here 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. There's not much to talk about in the movie besides like gags and stuff. It's like the plot is like, so the plot is literally. Ben kind of went over a bit in the beginning, but like, so Nick is the East German like army is trying to blow up NATO subs to like reunite the Germanys, and then they invite like these musicians to come over and perform. And so Nick is like the American musician who comes over to perform, and he goes out to a nice dinner at a restaurant and sees Hillary stressed out after when she meets one of the spies from the Resistance who gets killed. She like escapes. She comes into the restaurant and Nick like first meets her and like saves her. And then he performs when they're like gonna have the German guy perform, and then they just run into each other again at some point. One spy's turned into a fucking car sandwich. That's the other kind of like little vulgar-ish bit, is when she like puts her boobs in his face and the antenna pops up. God, what the fuck happens after that? They go to the play, and Nick sees Hillary again, but she's held at gunpoint, and the police officer falls off the cliff, and off the balcony, and Nick ends up going to prison for that. And then how does he? Oh yeah, that's right. That's where he meets the doctor. I'm just trying now. It's just a test to see if I remember what the fuck the plot of the movie was. That's where he meets the doctor and Hillary's dad. And then he ends up escaping. How does he escape? I forget.
They have to call because they need him to perform. He's at the firing squad, and then
that's right. That's right. There's the grandma going to answer the phone.
It just takes forever to get there. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then he does that, and then Hillary gets him out of there with the guitar. Oh God. All right. And then they go to the hotel room. They have their night together, and then they go to meet that one guy. I don't remember his name. They meet the guy, and he sends them to the potato farm, which is where the resistance is. And that during their night, we hear about Nigel and Hillary on the deserted island and how he escaped.
Which I feel like is a spoof of another like 80s movie, but I can never remember the name of it.
The deserted island thing?
Yeah.
Oh, is it the fucking comedy movie?
I don't know.
The Blue Lagoon, is that the one you're thinking of?
That's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
I'm on IMDb what they're spoofing, so.
Oh, okay. It is a spoof of that. It has to be, right? I mean, literally the guy's made to look exactly like the guy from Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, that is what it. I'm reading the thing about like what they're spoofing. The last one is E.T. the Extraterrestrial. After the underwater bar fight, Hillary's glowing breasts resemble E.T.'s glowing heart. Jesus. Did not know that's what we were referencing there. I just thought that I was like, what the hell is this bit? Like, what is that?
Yep, I'll be honest. That one went over my head.
But then they go to the resistance. There's a rat or like a traitor in the resistance. The Germans attack the resistance house. They go to the pizza place and make their plans to break out Hillary's dad. And then they go and enact those plans. And we find out that the torch or Nigel was the traitor. And yeah, that's the movie. That's it in a nutshell, basically. So yeah, that's the plot. As you can tell, I watched the movie. Didn't really remember much of it.
Because again, it's literally
it's unimportant. Let's be honest. The plot has nothing.
The plot is a highway for the joke cars to drive from place to place.
Yeah. It's how we got to get to the next. We got to get to the next joke.
The
get us there somehow.
Yeah. The plot is like it's a Tostitos scoops. All right, it's just there to deliver the salsa. It's not really there to be enjoyed. You don't go into it for the Tostito scoop. You're going for the salsa or the queso. All right. I did not intend to make these jokes on Cinco de Mayo or these references. It just happened.
I do love that, and I don't know, I didn't know if the songs were like actual songs or if they were like written for this movie. I don't know, but like
yes and no.
Okay, because a lot of them were like in the same tone of like Elvis, like who they're parodying stuff. Where
yeah,
I
mean, "Are You Lonesome Tonight" was definitely parodied like for Macy's.
Yeah.
Now, Skeet Surfin' was actually like a combination of like a couple different Beach Boys songs.
Okay, because it definitely is like Everybody's Surfing. Like that one is.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix between like it's like it's got a couple different Beach Boys songs as well as never mind. I was trying to think of what the other one was, but the other one I was gonna say is the Chuck Berry song, but that's Surfin' USA, which is basically because they gave Chuck Berry the writing credit on the song because they stole his guitar riff. But but yeah, Surfing USA, Fun Fun Fun, Little Honda, California Girls, and Hawaii. So it was all kind of like three different, or what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Beach Boys songs kind of rolled into one.
Yeah.
Tutti Frutti was a real song.
Okay.
That was a Little Richard song. I don't know if the How Silly Can You Get was a real... I don't know if that was a real song or not. I said, Are You Lonesome Tonight was obviously a pretty much Elvis parody. I think the Spend This Night With Me was an original. Oh my god, this is fantastic. I did not know this. The East German national anthem was based on the Shorewood, Wisconsin high school hymn. Just a high school. Could you imagine if you're just like, and now we're going to sing our alma mater as featured in the movie Top Secret? Which was also just such a great visual gag when it was the East German women's Olympic team,
yeah.
And it's just a bunch of dudes in wigs. Oh
man, now I can see why. I can kind of see why Republicans get a little pissed.
no. No, cut that. We're 100 days in, and Dylan has drank the Kool-Aid. We need to cut that.
Yeah, but like, if they weren't parodied, it's like, making fun of the fact that like all those songs from like the 60s and 70s are like quite literally just like hypersexual songs, kind of like facaded by popular music, basically. Like, it's like, I can't think of the one, but it's like, what's it, like something about laying a rug down or something, or a carpet. What is the fucking song he sings in the pizza place? I can't think of what it's.
Oh, Straighten Out the Rug?
Yeah, Straighten Out the Rug. And I'm like, oh my god, what?
I love as he's halfway through it, and the entire time they're arguing about whether or not he's Mel Torme, which I also just find phenomenal. Oh, that was the other great visual gag when they're introducing him, and they're going through, and then it's like, tonight Nick Rivers also featuring, was it Debbie Gibson and Stevie Wonder, and then it says time permitting Frank Sinatra. Was just so. Again, just such a good bit.
Ben, I did want to discuss with you. We can take a second to think about it. But I wanted to do a little draft with you, Ben. Thinking, I don't know, maybe 3 rounds. 3 rounds is probably good for us. 4? I feel like 4. If we're doing snake, we'll snake.
Okay.
I want to do a draft with you. 4 rounds of best parody spoof movies.
Ooh. Okay.
And that, it doesn't have to be like Airplane or this movie as far spoof comedy where it's just absurdist. But, anything that is like parodying or like satire of another genre is fair game in my book.
Okay.
Here I don't think I have a coin on me, but I'll just do an app on here. All right, Ben, you want heads or tails?
Give me tails.
All right, it is heads. So I'll go first. Or do I want to go first? I don't know. It's a snake. I'll go first. I feel like first. We'll snake it. So
Okay. All right.
All right. So I think with 1-1, personally, I'm gonna go with Shaun of the Dead as my favorite parody of zombie movies, obviously. But
Wow. Okay. Um.
I'm glad I got to go first because that one was like the one I wanted most of all. So
I'm not gonna lie. Top Secret might be one of my favorites because I just love the absolute absurdity of it. So I am gonna take this movie. This is one of my favorite spoof movies. And then on the turn, I'm going to take the other best horror genre spoof movie, I think, and that being Scary Movie.
that was the one I was gonna probably take next.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna take this one. I feel like I've got to take it on the turn. It's got to go like 1-1 or 1-2 or 1-2 or 2-1 because. Yeah, especially the first one when it was like the Scream parody mixed in with all the other stuff. I mean,
yeah, that one is definitely that, and 2 is still pretty good.
I was gonna say 2 is solid, and then after that it's a stretch.
Yeah, I feel like that's everyone in this genre is like.
Yeah, you really gotta.
Either, like, I mean, no one's gonna pick epic movie or what's the other one they did, the superhero
date movie
one?
or. Yeah, superhero movie was rough.
Like those were terrible. I'm surprised you didn't go for this other one. I am not gonna take it because I have not seen it in a minute. Ooh, oh my god. Okay. I'm looking through lists right now.
Yeah, I just had to pull up to see.
Does Tropic Thunder count?
I
don't know if I would count that personally. When I think of like parody and spoof, I'm thinking like I would accept Austin Powers. I feel like that is a parody of like James Bond.
Yeah.
But I feel like Tropic Thunder is a bit of a stretch. Like I kind of can see it kind of doing like playing on like stereotypes of like war movies, but I feel like it in and of itself is more of just a like it is a comedy like without the parody stuff on it. It's more making fun of like the industry and all that, like movie making more so than war movies. I think I will take Austin Powers one as my second round pick. And then I think for my third, I might do Pop Star Never Stop Stoppin'.
I haven't seen it.
Oh really? It's
yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's like amazing, but it cracked me up a lot when I watched it. It's more modern one.
Yeah.
But like, it's pretty funny. It's goofy as hell, and I'm a big sucker for like the Lonely Island guys. So
yeah, no, it makes sense. I'm not gonna hate on the pick. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
and I also feel like it was one of those that probably got more hate than it was deserved. But I'm not gonna.
You're not judge, jury.
I'm not gonna fight either of those. Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on either of those. My next pick, I am going to go with. I feel like it has to be the best spoof on Arthurian legend, and that would be Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
All right, that's a good one. You still haven't taken the one I was kind of surprised you haven't taken yet.
I'll be honest, I think I know what it is, but I'm gonna hold off and see if I can sneak it later. But there's another one that I really want. that I also think is just another absurdist, funny spoof movie, and that is Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Okay.
Banger of a parody film.
Is this technically the last pick, right?
Is that it for me?
It should
Did I
be,
pick
right?
my two?
'Cause you picked 2 and then 2.
Shit,
Right? So
is
that's
that
4.
is that the last one I want to take then?
I mean,
Hold
if you
on.
need a 5th one, we can. I
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I might have goofed here. I might have goofed not thinking about what I was looking at. I'm looking at the list of spoof movies here, and I'm trying to think if there was another. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are other spoof movies that I very much love.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I'm going absurdist still and spoof on things, I might have to do it just because I think it's deserving. And oh man. I'm between now 2. I'm thinking back to ones that I am definitely between. You know what? I'm gonna go with one that people would consider one of the best comedies, even though I know we did it on the pod and said that maybe it didn't hold up as well. But I am gonna still take it. Give me Blazing Saddles.
That's where I was expecting.
I'll be honest. I forgot that was round 4, and I was like, I'm hoping maybe Dylan won't think about it, or he'll be like, no, we did it, and it, it caught some flack, so maybe I'll let it go. And I was like, I can scoop it in the next round. And then when you're like, all right, that's the end of the list, and I was like, wait, what? Oh shit, hold on, I goofed.
The other one I could see, and you may not enjoy it as much, but Cameron would definitely take Spaceballs. I feel like I was kind of like maybe Ben would like Spaceballs, but are you the one?
I have a negative opinion. Of Spaceballs.
Are you the one who like he turned it on and then left the room?
And Cameron because of it.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. The son of a bitch. Oh, we have to watch Spaceballs. We have to watch it. Let's watch something else. No, guys, we have to watch Spaceballs. Turn Spaceballs in. 5 minutes. 5 minutes in, kid gets a booty call and leaves. Fuck you, man. Now I'm stuck here watching this shit.
You could have turned it off, couldn't you?
We were in a room with like 7 or 8 people.
Oh.
And he was the only one pushing for this goddamn movie. And then just fucked off.
Literally.
Just what? Come on, man. So yeah, my opinion of that movie is skewed negatively. I was going to say, well, I'll let you make your final... You have a final pick, right?
Yes, I do. And I'm gonna go with probably the lame choice, but I'm gonna go with Hot Fuzz.
I kind of figured you would come back around on that one too. I was kind of waiting. Okay.
Yeah, I think we in the episode, I kind of talked about it, but like, loved that on most recent viewing. So good, and as you watch. I think the thing about Edgar Wright's movies is that I feel like as you watch more movies, you'll get more of the jokes. Top Secret, maybe it would have been enhanced a little bit if I had seen more like comedies of like those like World War II spy movies, and like maybe there's some very specific movie jokes, which like I feel like I got most of, like, the Wizard of Oz one I got, like,
Yeah.
Like there's the ones that are kind of obvious, but I feel like Hot Fuzz and stuff, there's like literal quotes and lines, and this scene is directly like we're doing the die. Like it's so much of a love letter to these movies and like exact replicas to do the joke, where it's like as you watch the movies and like do the things, it's like, oh, like, yeah, the Bad Boy shot is in the scene where they talk about Bad Boys too.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
yeah,
I don't know, like, yeah, I think it just kind of tickled my fancy there, and it definitely grew on me when we watched it again. So yeah, Hot Fuzz is gonna be it for me. So it was like,
okay.
So I went Shaun of the Dead. Fuck, what did I even pick? Oh boy. I did Pop Star Never Stop Stoppin', Austin Powers, Hot Fuzz.
I went with this movie, Top Secret, Scary Movie, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and Blazing Saddles. I was between Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, because Young Frankenstein was also just a fantastic movie.
I feel like we both, besides Pop Star, I feel like, you know, I went with films from my childhood and growing up, and then Ben went with films from his childhood and growing up. Even though we are the same age.
We're the same age?
Ben just watched old movies as a kid.
Well, so I will tell you, there are, like, I'm looking at some of the list and some of the newer ones that I've definitely seen later, but I just don't know that they compete as well. I mean, I will say honorable mention would have gone to Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
I almost went with that one.
That one was very close for me. I think it's just tough because realistically what we would consider like our definitive kind of era of those movies, I mean, we really came in kind of at the shitty side of the tail end.
Yeah.
Right?
Besides, like, Scary Movie.
I mean, but even then, Scary Movie was 2000. We were 6.
Yeah.
So it's not like it came out when we were in, like, I don't know, I would even say it like, you know, the, like, teen years where we would kind of find more of our humor. I mean, because I would say Galaxy Quest is one I would definitely have put up there. I like the movie Basketball, but I wouldn't consider it one of the top spoof movies.
Yeah.
This Wikipedia list lists Mystery Men, which I don't agree with because it was based on a comic book.
Yeah.
So I can't really consider it a spoof movie when it's been based on... Like, this says Shrek is a spoof movie. I don't agree. Now, I will say, like, Wet Hot American Summer, I saw, but it wasn't until I was in college and just didn't...
Oh, God. All right. Can I redo my list? Can I take off Pop Star, Never Stop Stoppin', and put on Wet Hot American Summer?
All right. I'll allow it just because I also love that movie.
That movie is so good. Oh, we should do that for the podcast just because I want to talk about how much I love that movie.
Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. That's the one I wanted to do on an April Fool's, but couldn't find it anywhere.
Dude.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but like... But I mean, I'm just looking at the ones from like... Now we get into like 2004. Club Dread, I will also say the Broken Lizard guys. That's a good kind of scary movie spoof. But you get into like
I don't know,
epic movie, superhero movie. Then they did like the sports one with like the comebacks.
Yeah.
And it was just like there were so many that just
sucked. Date movie.
They started pumping out so freaking many of them.
And even like
just
the Waynes have like been doing stuff on their own, you know, like what's it, like Meet the Blacks and like God, what's the other one? There's like another one that's like something about a haunted house next door or something, I feel like.
I don't remember. But it's just like it became a thing where every year there was a movie that came out that spoofed all of the movies from the year before.
Yeah.
And it was just like
God. I mean, there's
they
some
weren't good.
Absolute dog shit ones. Like, it was a haunted house is the one I'm thinking of. And then there's 50 Shades of Black, which seems to be a like a parody of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
What is the like? What is that fucking one? There's one that's like the 40-year-old virgin who, God, what?
Oh, there's this one, 30 Nights of Paranormal Activity with the Devil Inside the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, yeah, that's one of those terrible ones.
The Hungover Games, the 41-year-old virgin who knocked up Sarah Marshall and felt super bad about it.
Yep, that's the other one. Yeah. Those were like the dog shit that came out like when it would have been like our peak for those movies. And
yeah,
it was like...
I mean, that's just the thing is it's like... I will also say, again, yeah, most of the ones I loved were from, like, the 70s and 80s. Into the 90s, Galaxy Quest, another great... not as much, like, it doesn't feel like spoofy, but Hot Shots was another good one that was kind of like a Top Gun type.
What about Breaking Wind, Ben?
Which I also think was another one. Oh, it was Jim Abrams, but I don't think it was it wasn't with the Zucker brothers. I never heard of Break Wind, and I don't know that I want to.
It's a Twilight spoof.
Oh.
It has a whopping 2.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
But see, like, this list on Wikipedia, like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I don't consider that a spoof movie.
No. I mean, maybe they're literally just like, if it's satires.
I think it was like, if it has some of those, like, off the end, jokes, then it's a spoof movie, and it's just like, not really. I will say one that I haven't seen that's listed as kind of a spoof type movie is Johnny Dangerously. It's the Michael Keaton.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
I will say it's like a 30s gangster movie spoof. So here, I'll just read the quick Wikipedia. A parody of the 1930s crime gangster movie stars Michael Keaton as an honest, good-hearted man who turns to a life of crime to finance his mother's skyrocketing medical bills and to put his younger brother through law school. Joe Piscopo, Mary Lou Henner, Maureen Stapleton, Peter Boyle, Griffin Dune, I don't really recognize him, Dom DeLuise, Danny DeVito, Dick Butkus, and Alan Hale. I've heard good things and also bad things. It has a 44% Rotten Tomatoes.
I was gonna say it's 6.5 on IMDb.
But again, it's hard for me to trust some of those because I feel like no spoof movie does well.
Yeah.
When going through ratings,
I think the problem too is
they're not meant. I think people try to take them seriously and don't.
Yeah, I think a lot of people also are like, it's kind of like the lowest form of humor, in a sense. Like it's like, oh, you're taking this concept that already exists and you're just kind of like poking fun at it. Like
it's easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was gonna say I wish they had like human ratings on IMDb. Like if you like went to a director and you could just see like an aggregate score for every movie somebody has done. Because I'm looking at this dude who did a short movie, Saving Ryan's Privates. Then he did 41-Year-Old Virgin Who Knocked Up Sarah Marshall, whatever. Breaking Wind. Then he did that Danny Trejo movie Badass. And then he did 30 Nights of Paranormal Activity with the Devil Inside, blah, blah, blah. And then like 3 more badass movies and a lot of other shit. And it's all... The highest movie he has on here is a 5.6. Majority of them are in the 4s and belows. And I'm just like, remind me not to watch a Craig Moss movie.
I also just wish let me see. I was looking at one of the reviews for Top Secret. And it's an 8 out of 10 review. And it's so I don't understand the title of the review. I don't understand. It's so stupid. It's hilarious. My husband and I were laughing nearly the entire movie, and I found myself repeating what is even happening over and over, and yet somehow incredibly entertaining. I wish sometimes people would be okay with giving movies that. Like, look, this movie is bad for almost the sake of being intentionally bad to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, but there's people out there that are like, this movie was terrible, 2 out of 10. It's like, no. Give me people who will give me, like, an honest...
It's not supposed to blow you away.
No, or it's supposed to be dumb for the sake of making you laugh.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, it has a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb and a 3.7 out of 5 on a letterbox. So like people are getting it. They understand the joke. Like they get it. Yeah. Anything else, Ben, about Top Secret?
No.
I feel like I gotta like it has an exclamation point, so it's like Top Secret.
Top secret. No, not really. Like I said, this I know. In the time since we've had the chance to record, losing Val Kilmer was
Dude,
that one. You know,
I feel bad.
every once in a while, you go through the ones where like you see that celebrities kind of pass. Every once in a while, you get the ones that really kind of hit, and I think Val Kilmer for me was why I could point. I was talking to my dad about this. I could point to almost any time in my life and tell you that in one of my top 5 movies at any point, Val Kilmer was in or was the lead, or I think a movie like Top Gun, loved it. Batman Forever for me was the Batman I grew up watching. I wore out VHS tapes of that movie. So for me, Val Kilmer was always my favorite Batman. Tombstone, he's phenomenal. And then it wasn't until being like in my teenage years that I saw this movie where I'm like, what, this guy does this to, like, this guy who's this super kind of in a bunch of serious-y type roles, and he just does this type of thing where it's the most absurd, outlandish, ridiculous thing I've seen. And that was one where I was like, I woke up in the morning and saw the news and was like, oh, is this one of those, like, this is one of those hoax things, right? And then I saw a lot more of the reports on it, and that was devastating. So when we were talking about stuff coming back, and I knew we had done most of my favorite Val Kilmer movies, I knew when it was like, we haven't seen this one, I was like, this is one that really, to me, shows off that, he was really such a talented person that we lost. So thank you for indulging me.
I really want to go watch The Doors now, because when he passed, everyone was like, he should have won the Oscar for Doors. So
should have won it for that. Should have won it for Tombstone.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say it was one of the biggest kind of disappointing things that I did not get the chance to meet him. We were at like one convention that we tried to, and we had talked to people there, and we're like, we just we don't really want anything signed. We don't want we don't want to pay $80 for a photo op. Like, we just want to meet him and express like, hey, thank you
a lot
for
to me.
Yeah, exactly. And the people that were working at the convention were like, oh, no, not really. And then actually his business manager came up to us and explained, she's like, I'm so sorry, like, we don't even get to set the prices on what. She's like, the convention decides how much autographs cost, how much this costs, how much that. She's like, we don't even get. She's like, so I'm sorry that they're like pressuring you into that. And I'm like, well, okay, but it was kind of disappointing. But
yeah, I felt bad for Kyle MacLachlan, because like he had just lost David Lynch, and then he was in The Doors with Val Kilmer, so like he also had like a heartfelt thing about like working with Val and being good friends. And I was like, damn, dude, he's lost two good friends last year.
Yeah, which I don't know. I've heard Val was difficult to work with,
but everyone's spoken highly of him as a human.
Yeah, but everyone said in other dealings he was just a great person. If no one has seen it, I do recommend it. I can't remember if it's a Hulu or Amazon or somewhere. I don't know, but the documentary, it's literally called Val, and I think it's actually voiced over by his son. I think it's his son, maybe mixed with AI. It was made after the cancer diagnosis, where he wasn't really speaking. It features a lot of behind the scenes type footage, stuff that he shot of himself. and it's almost very much documentary about his life and everything going on. It was a really cool doc to watch.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
Prime? Okay. I couldn't remember. I watched it at my mom and dad's, but I couldn't remember which streaming service.
Um, oh well. Ben had seen this film before, but I had not. So I am the lone goob this week. So Ben's going to give you a nostalgia rating and then an updated one after watching Top Secret this most recent time. And I'm going to give you a first watch rating. So, yeah, here we go. Top Secret. It's fun going into a movie not knowing what to expect, not having heard of it before you sit down to watch it. I love that because I feel like a lot of times you don't know what to, or like you kind of have expectations set in your head. Like you're like, I've been meaning to watch The Shawshank Redemption. It's the #1 movie on IMDb, so it's got to be the best movie of all time, right? You know, like so. It's nice not having any of that going in and just you get what you get. And yeah, like we kind of talked about, like it's a dumb movie. It is, for lack of a better word, like it's stupid. But that's a good thing. Like it's fun. It's fun to sit down and watch a movie and not have to be serious for. And they did a perfect job. It's an hour and a half. It didn't stretch out too long. Like it is the perfect comedy time. It's like 90 minutes. You gave me a 90-minute movie, and I could just kind of not necessarily turn off because I'm kind of using that analytical like podcast brain where it's like I have to talk about this later, so let me think of the movie and like whatever. But just like it's fun to sit there and just indulge in the stupidity sometimes, you know. And you can kind of get away from what's going on in the world. And not every movie needs to make me cry or laugh or blow me away. I chuckled plenty throughout this movie. There were some jokes that were just too stupid, but there's a lot of it that just made me laugh. A lot of like of those or it's like kind of like smart jokes where you got to kind of think about it. Like the oh yeah, my dad thought about it while he was shaving. That's why I'm called Nick. You know, it's like oh my god. And yeah, like Val Kilmer, I can see why he progressed past this movie. I feel like he's honestly a little too talented to be in this movie. And he kind of carries it with the musical numbers and just some of the humor and the gags. Like it's a great Val Kilmer performance. He's not going to win an Oscar for it because it's, you know, whatever, but he does a great job. And I, you know, like Ben said, I did not realize that he had this comedic element to him, knowing him from Tombstone and Heat and his more serious roles. So that was really cool to see. But yeah, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Will I watch it again? Yeah. Am I gonna watch it again like right away? No. It wasn't amazingly funny, but like I'll watch it again. Like especially like Ben said, like the first time he caught it was on TV. If this came on TV or like Airplane, like any of these like stupid comedies, like I'll sit down and watch it. Like I know the gag that I want to see now, so it's like I'm gonna watch and like find my gag, you know. So yeah, I would recommend it if you haven't seen it.
Nice. Yeah. You know, interestingly enough, going in, I probably also had it just at a 6. It's just like we said. It's a movie that for 90 minutes you can just shut down and sit and enjoy it. And I will say this. I watched it, you know, again, kind of by myself. If you can watch it with people,
oh, it's gonna be so much fun.
Especially if you can just let yourselves be okay with laughing at stupid things.
Yeah,
you will have a blast. Rewatching this movie, knowing some of the jokes that were coming, but some of the ones that you kind of forget, and when they repop up, or the things you might have just missed the first go round, I think I actually bumped this to a 7 out of 10. Like I said, and it might go up there as one of my favorite spoof movies. I just think what I appreciate, and I think maybe it's again just because of the era of spoof movie we were born into. It seems like our era of spoof movie, the only way for it to be successful was to be borderline pornography. Like, over the top.
Yeah.
This movie really, like we said, the beginning with the skeet shooting or skeet surfing where the girl gets up and it's very obvious that there's two
Divots.
two holes in the sand that are way bigger than it would ever be. I mean, there's that. There's where Hillary says, like, you know, her name is, you know, German for
girl whose bosoms defy
gravity. But I mean, and the anal the anal pleasure jackhammer thing. But I mean, for the most part, it's not over the top sexual innuendo. It's not over the top, you know, it's not over the top language wise. I mean, it's a relatively clean for the mid 80s. It's impressively clean for what you would expect.
Yeah.
And I just think you can watch this movie, and even if you think you've seen everything, there's some sort of visual gag or something that you don't remember or you didn't catch that you're gonna see and just be like, oh my god, that's hilarious. We didn't even talk about one of the other favorite things, is when Nick gets into they're surrounded in the potato farm, and Nick shoots through the window. And then he ducks, and when he gets up, another window's been shot out, but in the shape of an X.
Yeah, he's playing tic-tac-toe.
he plays tic-tac-toe, and then the last one, he doesn't even fire. He just kind of pokes his thing through the glass,
yeah,
and then blows on the gun, even though he didn't fire it again. Fantastic. Just such a good... Which, again, I kind of remember the bit, but I didn't remember the fact that he never fires the gun the third time. He just breaks the window and then blows on the barrel like he did something. It's phenomenal. Yeah, I think this movie is the definitive kind of crossroad of smart meets stupid, and it's phenomenal. It holds up really well. If you're into that kind of humor, it's a must-watch. And I feel like it's really cool if you're listening to this and you've never heard of it. Watch it, tell people about it, but also, I don't know, this movie to me feels like a hidden gem.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised I hadn't
kind
heard
of
of
like
it.
It's kind of like but now that you're in, you feel like it's such a cool secret. It feels like a top secret movie. Boom. I've looped it all in. Close it down.
Bingo bango. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Check us out wherever you listen. Been hit it on the head. So, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Check us out next time, and share us with your friends and family. Yeah. And as always, watch responsibly.
Hey.